Hello. Welcome to episode 11 of the Digital Quill podcast with your host, Mars Wilson. I guess I am me, she is she, that is we. Hi there. How are you doing today? That sounded strange to me. Sorry. Yeah, actually, no. How are you today? So if you're listening to this and you have an option to comment, please let us know how you're doing. I do like responding to comments, and that's a pretty good one to respond to, I guess. Maybe. I think. I don't know. There's been some debate on that in the psychology community. How are you is kind of a tricky question because it's, not always a good answer. So I also like to say, how are you doing? If you prefer to answer that, or not, how are you doing? What are you up to today? Like, if that's just, self-care and being in bed, that's a perfectly good answer. Sometimes we need that. I don't mind if it's just one thing. Sometimes we just need that one thing. So what are you up to today is my follow-up question to how are you doing? Wow, I really fucked that up, didn't I? Good job. Just a few more episodes to go until we have our first guest episode. I am actually hashing out the details on that one a little bit over the weekend. If the sound quality sounds different to you, that's probably because I did a little bit of editing. I learned some things, safe to say, and I have exponentially more to learn, but I like that. I like learning. Learning is really good for you. It keeps you, I guess, naive in a healthy way, because there are dangerous ways to be naive, I think. Let's just jump into today's episode. Today's episode 11. Wow, this is 11 episodes in. So if you are one of those people that are I don't know, I think based on the stats that I get from Substack and then the stats I see on my end from YouTube and stuff, YouTube, I'm averaging one listener per episode. Substack, it's different. I would have to do some more diving into the analytics or whatever, but I would say it's somewhere between 5 and 10. So if you do listen to the episodes or even just listen to the first 5-10 minutes, wow, thank you. And we're only on 11, so that gives me hope for the future, because I was listening to a couple of my favorite other podcasters. They've recently had anniversaries. A couple of them are on their 10-year anniversary. Some were on 5, some were on 15, and I'm that's with consistent posting and scheduling and stuff like that. It's I don't know, to hear them talking about their numbers like mine, I'm just oh, so if I just be consistent, since that's the name of the game, is consistency, and a bunch of other stuff. We'll get into more social media things later, but no, seriously, thank you for joining me on the beginning of this journey. It actually ties into social media, a topic that I do kind of want to get into, and is an ongoing topic. Another ongoing topic is wellness. Have you been doing your breathing exercises? I mean, I didn't assign any breathing exercises. You can assign those yourself by just remembering to square breathe and get more oxygen in once in a while. Maybe escape the city every now and again and go where there's a bunch of trees. Trees are good for you, by the way. Consider hugging one. I know that sounds so hippie-ish, but I promise it's good for you. Nature in general. A few things that I want to go over today are rewriting failure and social media balancing pretty much everything, since even balancing balance has a balance. I'm gonna touch on things like nostalgia in the past a little bit, kind of give you my perspective and personal anecdotes on some of those things. I'm gonna try to keep it sectioned, I suppose. No promises. Today is not a video episode day. I am exhausted. I have not really been taking care of myself as I normally try to do, but, you know, as they say, do it today, or what you put off today, you'll pay for, you know, another day or something like that. So that's a conversation I shall have with myself at a later date. You probably are seeing a weird Digital Quill Media background. That was thrown together in 5 minutes. And, well, not really 5. It was like between 10 to 15. I don't know. I wasn't really counting. But, yeah, it's just kind of there as a placeholder for now until I actually get around to changing up my graphics, which is actually one of the first topics we shall talk about today, is changes. Changes across the Digital Quill Media, the Digital Quill Press. So I guess to kind of recap and give you an idea of what this whole umbrella thing is. So, it's better if I draw it out for myself. But, if my memory serves me correctly, and this is really good for people who like lore and like being at the beginning, ground zero of knowing everything about a project or like a person or like an artist or whatever, like this is for you. This is lore, all right? Lore. Fucking lore that ties into changes, right? Cuz this wouldn't be a Digital Quill Media post or a Digital Quill podcast without me going on tangents, right? A long time ago, I did start other types of blogs, kind of like when I was in high school and stuff. I tried Blogger, I tried a blog.com, I tried a couple other things, and none of them really felt like they stuck. So I kind of gave up writing online for a while. And this does tie into social media too. Ironically, or not ironically, but most of the stuff I talk about ties into each other in one way or another. Connections, yay. Anyway, so there is a slight history to me trying to blog online, and why Substack decided to stick for me, I have no idea. And I did try Medium for a while, but it wasn't really sticking for me either, and I was like, back to Substack. So I went back to Substack. I think this was a project born in 2021, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe 2022. I'm really gonna have to write down the timeline later and like do a timeline episode. But it started as one blog, and I had poems posted first. I had like little stories. I had like personal stories about like being a security guard, like an overnight security guard and stuff like that. And because I know a lot of people have questions, well, not a lot of people, but there are certainly a number of people that it's noticeable who have questions about what it's like to work as an overnight security guard. And let me tell you, I have some answers and some stories. It's an experience. It's an experience I will not rob you of, but be warned. What happens at night usually stays at night. And oh my gosh, I have stories. I'm so glad I don't work overnight anymore. Thank you for all that is holy and divine. But yeah, that was the beginning. And then I decided very quickly that I was like, wait a minute, I know myself. I can't just stick to one subject. I like everything. And I do mean it when I say I like everything. Well, I like a lot of things. It's really hard for me not to like something. It concerns me sometimes. I'm like, do you hate anything at all? Like, if you don't hate it, you're at least neutral to it, and that's equally as concerning, because it's not unlike me to be neutral to something and then find I at least mildly like it. I don't know how to explain this. I think other neurodivergent people might get it. Do you get it? Do you understand what I'm talking about? You might. But it's hard for me to dislike things or hate things. Hate feels so strong. And, I was like, okay, so I know I'm going to end up branching off into topics. And then I started thinking about it. I was like, oh no, I will. I have erotica that I write that I wanted to start like publishing online for free, because why not? Maybe one day I'll turn it into books. I sincerely doubt that, honestly. I respect the authors who can publish that, but I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what that means to me, and if I will or I won't. I'm probably leaning toward I might more than I won't, but who knows? That's an internal debate. But I also have like poetry, and I also have like psychology I want to get into, and other stories that I've talked about on my Substack that I want to get into, and more like journalistic investigation pieces. And then I also wanted to get into, or I also have gaming and food and articles and snacks and things I try, and travel and music and movies. And you understand now why I needed to branch into 4 different blogs, 3 main ones. The one that's more creative is where the more adult-based content is. But yeah, like, I ended up branching off into the 4, and then when I was in the middle of that process, which I think was actually kind of quick, if I'm not mistaken, I realized I was like, the way of the future is technically podcasting, because that was technically starting to pick up speed just after like COVID and everything in 2020. And I was like, I'm going to end up having to go podcasting, because if I'm supposed to be the self-proclaimed author who's writing this book, and also a blogger, article writer / like free, like on my own kind of like journalistic, like independent thing, like I am going to need to get into podcasting and learning how to speak better and learning how to communicate better, and also all of the other things that I need to learn how to do continuously all the time. That's always an ongoing practice. But then I was also like, well, I wanted to get into public speaking along with being an author, because I just figured like public speaking would be cool. I would be able to learn a lot from other people and also speak on those things and be like, listen, these humans have things to say. See, isn't that great? Yay! Or, wow, that's actually an interesting point. Maybe we should get questions from the audience. You there. Oh, that's another interesting point. More questions from me. Number 1, I think you guys should talk about it right now, because I have nothing and I will learn from you. But then sometimes I might have something. I don't freaking know. But most of the time, I kind of want to take the quiet route and like listen and learn, and then pass that knowledge on to, I'm like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's stuff I'm working on. I'm developing my character still, or polishing it out at least. But yes, the Digital Quill press, the Digital Quill media, like, it's undergone a lot of like changes and stuff, and like minor tweaks here and there. I call the Digital Quill media more like the photography and the art and the like public speaking and the videos on TikTok and now YouTube Shorts. And I just call all of that like part of the media part, because it's definitely not the writing. That's definitely not writing. That's everything but writing. And like the press is like my investigation journalistic things, and like my like writing. So there is 2 branches that cover both things. And then I really like the idea of family over corporate. That's why I like Winco Foods so much. Employee owned things. And I also like the idea of like, I don't know, like family is such a broad aspect and term, especially when you come from a family like mine. It's very complicated. So I call the whole thing like the Digital Quill family, or the Digital Quill Media family, or the Digital Quill Press family, or something like that, like the Digital Quill family. And that kind of encompasses anyone who becomes a guest on the show. That encompasses anyone that's a human doing human things. Like, welcome to, you know, the people ship, I guess. It's like now my overarching thing. Like, I'm not... Don't get me wrong, and please let this be noted. I am not trying to start a cult. I don't care about cults. Actually, I take that back. I care about them enough not to start one or join one. But observe, maybe. Join, questionable, probably not. Create, absolutely not. But I am trying to like connect people and like connect more people and connect those people and those people, because like at the end of the day, like I've said this before to myself and no one in particular, but now that I have a platform where I can say it, I'm gonna say it to everybody. Which, thank you for giving me this platform, which I know I gave myself, but thank you for listening to me on this platform. I don't want the limelight shown on me. I don't want to be out in the spotlight. I kind of like it over here in the shadows, helping other people succeed and shine. Like, I don't need that. I don't need fame. I really don't. I need people to be at peace and happy and safe and thriving, and I need people to be learning from each other how to be better thems, how to be better people, how to leave behind a better world. If I can take what I've learned from other people and from my own experiences and pass that on, that would mean so much. So my aim is not to connect me to connections. I mean, it would be nice to have those connections and those assets and like financial whatevers. Financial mindsets, I guess. But because it would help me in my mission to help other people, and I would be able to give back a lot more than I can. But that might not be entirely possible because of a lot of factors. And if it's not, I don't want that to stop me from connecting people to other people that they might learn from, that they might be able to find a safe place in. Because everybody needs somebody. So yeah. That is what I want. That is how I aim my aspirations, my stories. Like, that's why I want people to be connected and join the Discord and stuff like that, because it's like, maybe I can give people that outlet where they're safe, that outlet where they'll find safe people, that outlet where I can connect people and hopefully leave behind a better place. Which, let's dive into the social media aspect. I both love and hate it, and you probably have heard me say that before. When I got into it, when I got my first Facebook, when I was on DeviantArt, when I started getting on the internet in 2012 and becoming aware of it and stuff, I did notice that, of course, at some point, the world would go in the way of the internet. Automation, stuff like that. Because, like, that's just... Number one, that's in all the sci-fi shit. WALL-E. Freaking robots. The Parable of the Sower by Octavia Butler. Great book, by the way. hard to read when you are living in it. But great book, by the way. Social media can be a great tool if we use it correctly. And I like that it can pay people to have a lifestyle where they don't have to go to work if they have chronic disabilities or issues that prevent them from being able to, air quote, be a functional member of society because the workforce or whatever deems able-bodied and minded as functional. There is a saying that my mother used to use called different strokes for different folks, and we have built a society where there's a lot of different things a lot of different people can do now. Where people who were not able to thrive as much are now able to do so. I think that's kind of a good thing. That's a testament to humanity's ability to change and endure, even in the hardest of things. So let's kind of keep that attitude and kind of keep going as a species. Keep being able to do things and learn things and experience things as humans. Social media does give us a lot of advantage in a lot of ways. You can now talk to more people than ever before. That's really cool. But there is a balance. And truthfully, if I could streamline this podcast in my writing, like my books, or my first book at least, and just everything, and not have to have social media, I would do it. I would download all of my social media into a zipped folder if I could. All of my data online into a zip folder, erase it all, and keep that folder on my hard drive if I could, so I could upload my entire digital presence again if I wanted to. And I know that sounds like some sci-fi bullshit, but that might actually be possible one day, and if I could do that, that'd be cool, because I would like to erase myself from digital media entirely. Not because I'm ashamed of it or embarrassed by it. If you knew me and you've been here a while, you know some of the projects I've gotten up to. I will admit them out loud. I'm not going to hide anything. There are things that are private. There are things that are meant for certain audiences, but I would definitely remove myself from social media and just do the podcasting and have someone or a team of someone's do my social media for my projects. That's kind of the dream. Me removing all of my private air unquote social media, just doing what I do, and then having a team of people run my social media, that'd be cool. If I could just download my entire digital presence and upload it if I needed to because I missed it, or I wanted to view it and reminisce, which is a nostalgia thing, or something like that, that'd be cool. Hopefully one day that's possible. Maybe. But until then, until I can download all of my data to use at my own will, either to view privately for reminiscing, or to upload again if I feel like coming back as a digital presence. If I can have a team of people running my social media pages for my blogs, my books, my podcast, that'd be great. So I could just stick to the creative part and the human part of interacting with freaking other people and not just digital bots and spam and notifications and all the social media. If I could just narrow my focus so I could be more present, which is what I want, that'd be awesome. But until then, until I can do all that, until I can balance that, until I can have that, this is what we do. We learn how to balance the social media we currently have. I do like it that we can connect with people. I hate how much time it takes up too. And I know that's a self-inflicted wound. But at the same time, like, I don't know. Social media is a blessing and a curse. And I'd like to really have it that way. But I can't. It's probably a sci-fi thing. But that brings me to my next point of nostalgia. I know a lot of people are like, no, don't revisit your past. Your past is a bad thing. You want to stay away from it. You want to run away from it. No, I agree. There is nothing more I want to do than run away from some of the stuff I've been through. I'd love to run so freaking far. That'd be great. But also, that's not helpful because it doesn't really go away. Unfortunately, it happened. It's an imprint. It's gonna stay. I like to visit nostalgia. I like to visit the past as a friend. Not as someone who's afraid of it. Not as someone who wants to run from it because I do. But as a friend who wants to understand it. Who wants to sit with it and learn from it and improve from it. Understand, gain perspective. I like to visit the past as a friend. Not someone who wants to judge it. Maybe try to love it unconditionally, but that's a little hard to do if I'm being honest. So we'll just stop for friendship. Friendship and understanding. With our past, with nostalgia, with the things that no longer exist in the present, but exist as shadows or ghosts. And it's interesting, sometimes the past, the nostalgic past, can change and be a future, but not in quite the same ways as you'd think. Sometimes it takes different shapes, and I guess that would no longer be the nostalgic past anymore. I can't say that the past or visiting the past, being nostalgic, is always a good thing. I'm going to quote a lot of people, and I'm starting to understand what they mean, which is why I'm now taking that on, is I don't like absolutes. I don't like absolutes like always and never, forever, because I don't know. Absolutes, it's hard to explain. I get it, but it's hard to explain. I don't like absolutes. So I'm not going to say that visiting the past always feels great. I'm not going to say it's always a good idea. Sometimes it's a bad idea. Sometimes visiting the past to being nostalgic doesn't help. I mean, there are several reboots that people complain about all the time, so I mean, there's that. That's a prime example, at least in media. But sometimes it helps. I've probably said before that I keep a journal. I keep several journals, technically, depending on the tone or the vibe or what I'm going for, but I try to kind of write in at least a couple of them every week. At least. Doesn't always work out. But I definitely keep one. One for sure that is definitely, and I know I hate absolutes, but this one is filled with nostalgia. Which I guess wouldn't be an absolute, it's more of a fact, but and there's one that I filled entirely. Well, almost entirely. I don't like filling up pages of every journal. I don't think I've ever gotten to the end of a single journal, which might make some people annoyed or upset. But I like leaving a few pages. Or maybe I don't like it, but I do it anyway and I've learned to accept it. And maybe one day I will try to push myself to get to the very last page of a notebook or journal or something that has lined paper or not lined paper or whatever. We'll see. Time will tell. But I visit that one sometimes because it was definitely during a time I don't ever want to visit again. But it has provided a lot of lessons as time has gone on. And as I review it, as I go back, as I reread, revisit, it kind of serves as a reminder of where I was at and how far I've come. And I know for a lot of people that might not seem like much. But there have been some points in my life where I've been really stagnant. Not growing, not learning, not doing, not thinking, not feeling, not vibing, not existing, not living. Not even surviving. Just barely being alive. I don't ever want to be that person again. I don't ever want to be stagnant again. Being stagnant terrifies the shit out of me now. Disgusts me too, I guess. I'm disgusted by stagnancy, which I guess if you've ever smelled stagnant pond water, you should probably be disgusted by being stagnant too. I'm kidding. Your own individual experience is your own. But for me, being stagnant disgusts me. I cannot do it. I feel like stagnant pond water when I am stagnant. Hopefully the audio is good this time around, because there will be more changes. I will be adding an intro and outro video, or like some kind of outro intro thing. I will be getting up or increasing the video quality, hopefully. Changing up the hosting site for sure at some point in the future. I don't want to be hosting from Substack all the time. Let's see. I will be doing lives in the future, like live streams, probably on Twitch or something like that. Maybe even YouTube every now and again. So if you're not already subscribed to my YouTube, you might want to do that. I will be increasing, or not increasing, but updating my graphics, or at least getting more graphics or some type of like more semi-permanent graphic. And one of the things I kind of want to incorporate, if I can, is if I have anyone who helps me with like music bites or graphics and images, merch ideas, just anything to help like tie up these projects and these brands. Like, I want to have like a credits page where it displays like their other project names or like them as a person, like something like that, where I can like actually show off the Humans of Earth doing Humans of Earth things. And that'd be cool. Like, I want to have like that community element, because I do believe it does take a village. You know, I wouldn't really be where I am without most of you already. Stormy, that's really creepy. Cats are doing strange things. 1 second, please. Breathing exercises. Hopefully Ow, sorry about that one. That was my fault, and also the cats are being obnoxious. I don't like living with pets anymore. It's actually one of my least favorite things now. Speaking of pets, 1 second again. Why is living with cats so chaotic? Jesus. Okay. Sorry about that. Sorry for the delay. Hopefully you had time to think about the episode so far and give me updates and pointers of what I could do better. Oh. What do you like better, the black background for this or that? One of the schemes I want to go with is kind of like a blue scheme, like a blue-gray, cream tan, like that kind of thing idea, like I guess. I have a few ideas for the graphics and stuff for this, but I also don't know. I don't know. I need a team, obviously. I can't do everything by myself. I do believe it takes a village. I can't be where I'm at without your guys' help, and I can't get to where I'm going without your guys' help, and same can be said for the other artists and creators and musicians and people and entrepreneurs and just everybody. We can't do it without each other. So, subscribe to the YouTube, please. Like, comment, share, repost, or don't. Tell people about it. Hit copy link at least. Not every episode is probably going to speak to you, so that's okay. Maybe if you do pay attention or happen to catch one that speaks to you, like, share it or something. I don't know. 1 second. Sorry. Messing with the cats and trying to get them to stop made me allergic again. Excuse me again. Gosh, my allergies are so bad. I am still allergic to cats and I hate it. And anytime I have to like move their blankets around or something, it's just so bad. I hate it. Eventually I'll have enough money and I can move. It's probably gonna be a while, but eventually. Gross, excuse me. I have like chronic allergies, so even if I didn't have the cats around me, I'd probably still be allergic to at least the desert plants. So that's cool. But yeah, black or blue. Let's see, I think I've talked about the social media thing, sci-fi thing, a little bit of balance, kinda. I haven't really talked about, like, hidden versus private. It kinda ties into the I haven't really talked about hidden versus private, which kinda ties into the earlier topic of, what I was talking about, content that's for different audiences and stuff. I'm not gonna like outright blast it to the entire universe and be like, yeah, this is blah 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 blah. Like, you know, like I'm not gonna do that. But like if someone asks me, like I'll be like, yeah, sure, like, you know, like directly in like a message or like a or whatever. Like I'm not gonna be like, no, like I'm not gonna deny it. Like that's weird. But I'm not gonna be like, yeah, this is what I do. Like I'm not gonna broadcast it, with some exceptions on some places, but I'm not gonna broadcast everything. Like that's the difference between hidden versus private. Like there is a difference between hidden versus private. Like, for instance, unless I like announce it or showcase it or whatever. Like, you're not gonna know if I'm in like a relationship or married or like have children. Like, I'm not gonna showcase my entire life like that online. Like, when I say partner, you can assume that it does mean like someone I'm dating or something, but I will say that even if I'm not seeing someone, because it could literally just mean someone I'm partnered up with for the moment to like work on a project or like hash back and forth something. I don't know, like, there is two nuances to it, I suppose, but that is kind of like me trying to like keep, you know, not things hidden, but I don't want to like, I don't know. I feel weird when there's just a lot of weird shit on social media. And I feel uncomfortable when I don't know how to explain it. To me, in a way, social media is kind of more like a job. You don't go and tell your coworkers every single thing that you talk about at home, around the kitchen table, or in the bedroom. There are just some things that you don't say. And for like my safety and like for other people's safety, and just like because I want to enjoy it, like, unless you're super freaking close to me and we talk all the time, like, I don't know, there are some things that are just meant to be like between a select group of people and not like 400 million or 12 million plus, or even like 100 or 50 or whatever. There's a lot of nuance into it, and I'm sure there are some people that agree with me on that, and maybe some people that disagree. I don't mind hearing your viewpoints. Go ahead. Sometimes my mind can be changed. I will say that. So if you have a differing argument that you think I am wrong on, by all means. I wouldn't say you're wrong, but if you think I am, then, well, learning opportunity somewhere, I suppose. It's crazy to think that social media is kind of like a job. Like, you can pretend you're a sim or some kind of like live action Barbie doll thing. I've scrolled past some really weird live streams, okay? Like, I've seen some stuff online that has made me question my own sanity. Like, did I see that? Was that real? Did other people see that? Were the people that saw that real? Like, I've seen some weird shit, and I'm like, please no. Please get me off this side of the internet. Let me go back to the psychology articles I was reading, or the exercise routines, or the healthy diets, or the meditations, or the Tai Chi, or the yoga, or the sunset photos, or the writing vocabulary tips. Like, please, how did I end up on this weird side of the internet? Take me back. Fun fact, if you want to fix your algorithm, it's not a perfect science and it's not 100% guarantee, but just start searching the things that you'd rather see. So like keywords, I guess, like short words. Don't use full sentences, or do. You might try that. That might work. I don't know. But based off of what you search in the search bar on the apps like Facebook and stuff, and then like Google and whatever other browsing site you use, like to fix your algorithm, just search what you would rather see. It might work. And then like stay on each individual video like 3.5 seconds to like 5 seconds, at least long enough for it to click that you've viewed it, which is like 3 to 5 seconds, I think. I don't know, they might change that. But yeah, there are like a lot of stupid little tricks and tips, and that's why I encourage the share, like, comment, repost, because I hate it too. I really do. Like, sometimes I don't have the spoons to leave full comments. Sometimes I catch myself leaving generic comments that I would typically say anyway, but like, I don't know. Like, sometimes I just hit copy link, bookmark, repost. Sometimes I just share to my stories because I don't always have the spoons to leave conversations and comments. Sometimes I'll just leave a comment, like, just for the numbers, but it's all dumb. But it makes sense, but it doesn't, so yay, conformity. That's the one way I will, I guess. I will conform, just not entirely. Me problem. I am excited for the first guest episode. I don't usually try to work on my side projects or everything on the weekends, because I work on them a lot during the week, among like the other stuff that I do during the week. And I try to leave my weekends and like my Friday evenings as like the ways I relax and decompress and kind of whatever, like try not to work. But I often end up accidentally working on weekends. Like over the weekend I was tweaking like sound files and stuff like that on OBS to try to make this sound better. So does it sound better? Does it? Because this is important for the upcoming guest episode. Like, I need to know. But yeah. There's probably going to be 3 episodes this week instead of 2. I'm probably not going to be doing any blog writing. I'm probably putting a hiatus on that until after May. It's around the corner here, guys. To say I'm nervous is an understatement. I am beyond nervous. But at the same time, I'm also really confident. There's a lot of emotions that I would love to be able to like sit down here and hash out and describe to you, but I can't, and I don't want to at the same time. But it's coming up, and holy crap. I've learned a lot so far in this journey of writing 21 Days Gone, and like to like see it coming to this conclusion, because it's not even the end, it's just the end of this part. Like, there's a whole nother step that I'm about to step into with the book, and then a whole nother step after that. Like, it's not over. And then, like, there's gonna be another book eventually in the future, like, about different things. And then there's other books that I'm thinking of about different things, as I touched on. Like, oof. I'm excited. I'm nervous. I'm tingly. I do have, like, small moments where, like, I remember being prideful and stuff, but none like this, and none like the day I figured out I was gonna graduate, and, like, actually graduated. Like, I have trepidation, excitement. 21 Days Gone is everything. And it's coming, it's freaking coming. But yeah, I think I'm definitely hiatusing on my blog writing and sticking to the podcast for now. Mainly because I kind of need it. I need to, like, talk out to the void and, like, start this project, because by episode 110, there'll probably be at least, like, 20 more visitors or listeners. I mean, I'll be doing live streams and scheduled stuff like that, so yeah, probably. But, who knows? Who knows what happens? Maybe. Like, if consistency and, like, advertising, like, without using, like, money, but just, like, by word of mouth and stuff, like, has anything to show for it, then maybe, just maybe, that's accurate and not just a prediction or a guesstimate or an underestimate, but whatever. Sorry, thinking out loud. But yeah, hiatus the blogging. I have a lot of ideas and I keep sitting down to, like, write them, but then my heart's not in it, because I just think about, like, well, what if I just podcast instead? What if I just set up some episodes for later on, so I don't have to do anything at all and just focus entirely on the book in its entirety. It's actually funny. Not funny, but kind of funny. And this isn't even on my fucking points to talk about. But, I spent a lot of time rewriting failure and what it means to me to fail. Because it was, and still kind of is, but not as much, one of my biggest fears is failure. Being a disappointment is more of a fear now, being a disappointment to people I care about. But I had to rewrite my definition of failure, because failure doesn't mean the end of the world. Experience actually taught me that one. Failure just means try again, but different. Try again with new information. Keep trying. So as I'm like getting closer to writing this book, and after a lot of the things I failed at, some of the things I wasn't as successful at or as successful in as I thought I'd be, some of it mostly internal, some of it external. I'm not exactly where I thought I'd be. Sidestep about one of the reasons why this book is kind of important, besides like the message behind it and stuff, is I didn't really think I'd make it past 25. For some reason, I kind of thought I'd just be gone by now. And I made it to 26. Pretty much like with ease, actually. And one, that was really kind of shocking to me. Like, really shocking. Like, I seriously did not think I'd make it past 25 at all. I thought I'd be gone by now. I had no plans after that. I thought because I hadn't started writing my first book yet before 25, when I thought I'd expire, that I was a failure. Because I had no plans after 25 when I thought I'd be gone. But now I have one. I have a lot of plans, actually. And truth be told, slight vulnerable moment here, not that we are any, like, shortchanged of loaves. But, I wanted to be married by the time I was 26. With children on the way by the time I was 30, 31. But that also kind of determined on, or was, like, dependent of needing a home, like a house or property, a book written or two, an income of sorts that actually can support children, a good partner, a husband, stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff that needed to entail, just as part of like the goal or whatever of being married with children and stuff. And a part of that was a dream that was in existence, even though I didn't really think I'd make it past 25, only because the off chance, like maybe I did make it, and maybe I was in a relationship around that time, and maybe we got married before the time I turned 26, but none of that happened. None of that came true. I made a lot of mistakes in that regard. Not like chose the wrong, well, like the people were mistakes, I guess, but just like bad timing. I wasn't as aware of things as I should have been. Just there's a lot that goes into it, but I have definitely made a lot of mistakes, and paid attention to the wrong things at the wrong times. But I don't know, it's a long, complicated thing. I'm done trying to be vulnerable at the moment. But yeah, like I had to rewrite my definition of failure, because there's actually a note in the beginning of my 21 Days Gone notes, like when I first started writing notes down. And I was like questioning, like, can I even write a book in 30 days? Like, is it possible to write a whole book ready for publish and print in 30 days? And I'm like, I facepalmed myself because I was like, of course there fucking is Mars. Of course there is. Like, anything is really possible if you think about it. Like, truly. Also, everything is impossible, but anything's possible. I mean, some of the greatest books have been written in the longest periods of time and shortest period of time. Like, I guess it really depends. You know, it kind of depends on a lot. There's a lot of factors that goes into. And how long it takes to write a book and stuff like that. And I started paying attention to how I complete projects, because I started pushing myself to complete projects and other stuff and remain consistent. And I started working on a lot of stuff that I needed, foundations and building blocks and stuff like that. An ongoing process that I will be working toward for the rest of my life, probably. Failure does not mean I failed and it's the end of the world and that I should give up. Failure does not mean that you failed and it's the end of the world and you should give up. Keep going. And actually, the coffee stopped working. I didn't sleep well last night. I did not want this to be a long episode. I actually wanted it to be like between 20 and 35 minutes. It's now 56 minutes. So if you made it this far, with however shitty or great this audio quality is, thank you. Thank you for making it this far. But leaving it on the keep going, that failure isn't the end, is a great way to end this video, commercial, whatever the heck, words, English, blah, blah, blah. The last point I'd like to make is this. When you see me stutter, when you see me fail, when you see me nosedive into concrete, not literally, I mean metaphorically. Wow, I should clarify that. But, if you see me embarrass myself or whatever, go ahead and laugh. Go ahead and make fun of me. Go ahead and judge me. Truth be told, I'm probably laughing at myself too. Because I'm alive. And I get to experience failure and success, love, friendship, connection, humanity. I'm alive and I get to give you my time. I get to teach, inspire, motivate, and if I can't do those fucking things, I can entertain. I can be the court jester for us all. Because if you're judging me, if you're laughing at me, if you're making fun of me, if you're bullying me, there's a small chance you're probably having a little bit of fun. You're entertained. And I still win at the end of the day. Because that's all I want. So yes, keep going, people of Earth. My embarrassment is a testimony to me being alive and me being human. And you are human too. And as one of my new favorite artists that I wrote about in a TikTok post, or not a TikTok post, a digital quill post that I will link. Nobody. Hi, I'm nobody, and so are you. It is such a wonderful thing to be alive and share this experience with other people. So thank you for giving me that. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for existing. Thank you for always keeping going, even when it's hard, even when the lights are out. I will see you next time. Keep going, humans of Earth. Goodbye.